Hey everybody, BTO Pro here. I've got a copy of what is pretty close to the version that's going to launch for HAXcms version 12. So, got it fired up in DDev here. Let's take a quick look because it is a pretty dramatic improvement from version 11. So, what am I talking about? Well, first of all, even just the little touches like this screen. The fact that I can take my sweet picture, yay! And it's going to get uploaded on the background if I successfully log in. Also got some basic touches like it's reporting what version we're on, saying, hey, make sure you check this file if you have issues. Things that we'll clean up for in the future for sure. But now I log in. We also have some consistent color being worked in across all aspects of what we consider the system. There's also the ability to import from existing Git repos. So if you have a HAXcms site that's out there or you fork someone else's, you can actually just reference it directly from here and pull it in locally. So have a whole ton of test sites and things that I'm just messing around with, to be perfectly honest. But let's call up my blog in this case. What you just saw right there, that little burst, is a video that I just shot recently as well. So if you have a special flag set in Chrome, it's going to do something called Portal, which gives this really nice, slick transition between pages. Also helps improve the perception of performance. So there is me right there, and that's the photo that I just took a second ago. As you can see, major difference between 11 and 12. Just some of the simple things like down in the interface itself, having the ability to have whatever the dates are. This is a photo that I have in here, and I'll show changing that in a minute. Also have a lot more elements that are worked in that have settings on the back end that actually influence the theme and can be used across themes by different theme developers. So, this is a post about me teaching or whatever, but in this theme now, the HAXcms theme, if I click this, it's going to jump me to the exact source of that file. Now, that is a setting that I am leveraging in my edition of the site. Your blog doesn't have to necessarily use that, but it's really useful for doing contributions to documentation and things like that. Looking at some of the other enhancements, we've got, again, that system color applied, action buttons always being blue. Forms are a lot better at hitting responsiveness and still being usable, even down onto the little itty bitty screens. So all of these keep in scope. Even the outline editor, which has more functionality than it did before, as well as Hax itself. You see even little touches as far as state management there. We've got the right colors here. We've got this able to pop open and provide us more input options so that I can edit this. A lot better color consistency, data binding. It's just a way better release than the previous version. I can't even begin to express how much more sophisticated this is. So that if I were to search Realms LN, we'll see we have touches of purple throughout here. I'll show where that's coming from in a minute. We pull up our form. We've got a lot nicer looking forms, much more accessible, a lot more responsive as well. So I could tweak what the source of this is, but you see it's just pointing to a YouTube file there. I could upload a video. I'm not going to do that right now. Let's update that, put it on the page. See again, just consistency, that message flying up, being the same color, fitting into the boundaries of what's here. We've also got the color applied through Hax and not just Hax as a whole. This is actually taking on the look and feel of HAXcms itself. So Hax has a lot better CSS variable usage so that you can style it better. Again, lot better responsiveness in and out of the board here. Being able to delete this, which obviously I should be able to do. But we can cancel out of that. I mentioned that purple before, and it was subtle. Purple's, touched through my theme here as well. Where that's coming from is under site settings, which is completely different. We now have a whole drawer that flies out. So it gives this pushing the interface off to the side. This has a dramatically expanded series of options. For starters, it has a link that takes me back to the home page. So again, that burst, I can actually get back to the site listing now. There's no more just navigating between a whole bunch of open tabs. I can jump it back to my website, and then it'll reload the pieces it needs, open up site settings again. So I have a logo here. You can look at what that is, it's just a photo, but I could just do a camera upload from there. So the logo is used for generating thumbnails and things. So you see it's actually up there at the top. I can tweak who the author is, so I can set licensing details for this work, which are then semantically reflected in the output. I could change my name to Brian BTO Pro Olendijk. Let's go to theme. We'll leave it at HAXcms, but we'll actually switch this over to a teal so we can see what happens there. I really like that logo, but let's go with the airplane, or actually the globe. There we go. Banner, I could swap out. I'm not going to do that at the moment. Fields, we're starting to bring into their own area. SEO, so we're starting to try and group these much more like what you would expect to find in a more robust content management system. So if you want your paths to automatically be generated, there it is. Publishing options, we can leverage different content delivery networks, Penn State's being the default, but there's some others that are starting to pop up. And we can also now set whether or not this site will be fully offline capable. So if I wanted to leverage Penn State CDN and use the offline capable feature, it would mean that if someone downloads and installs my site, it would actually work completely offline, even with the CDN. So it actually caches the CDN, which is pretty crazy. We're gonna leave that alone. Publish a copy. So this is where our publishing option is. This will send it up to the website so it can be live, you know, like out on like a GitHub Pages is currently the only supported method there. We have drastically expanded options in Git as far as just exposing settings that were available under the hood, but through the UI now. I could sync down from GitHub. I could revert the last commit forcibly. Eventually, we'll put in an actual full-blown UI for managing the Git settings via here. But so I tweaked my name in the author area. And let's also pop open that webcam because it's pretty neat to be able to do that. And let's, you know, hold up our sweet Elm snowflake and go, yeah, like that. And we'll take the picture. And then we're just going to hit save. And you see it weighted, updated in the back end, and then reflected the change. You see even my little user picture is used here. Brian BTO Pro Olendijk is using this theme. It picked up a touch of the color in the theme, and now even the hover state on these buttons has picked up that touch of accent color. The radial burst on these has picked up that accent color. The styling of the input fields has picked up that accent color. So doing a lot better job of paying attention to you know, what I would previously say is the minutia of details. If I want to drag and drop, upload an image, I can still do those types of things in here if you're not familiar with just how wonderful Hax really is for editing things. All of that is still available to me. You know, it's not like any of that went away. It's just getting a lot faster, more robust, better support for mobile, better support for, you know, just navigational context, right? Being able to jump over to my blog, from my blog to the listing of sites that we have in general. Another big change, and I'll demonstrate this. I have to dig into the code a little bit to demonstrate this. But so I'm logged in, yay, it's got my picture here still, right? That's awesome. I should probably make it stop saying you're logged in. This page, you'll see is generated, and this is actually, if you inspect sources, this is the way they've always been generated in HAXcms. However, and this is something we have to put in still as far as like having this happen automatically. BTO Pro is the first HAXcms site that's driven by both an index.html and an index.php. And that will probably look a little weird at first, but I'm going to take that index.php, we're going to copy it into Hax the Web. The reason for this, and we have to copy our htaccess file, sorry. I do need to, we're going to put in a upgrade routine as far as some of these files are managed, and you can optionally upgrade your site. So what happened there is now, because of the way that we have Apache default configured, if it doesn't detect a PHP version of the site, it's going to fall over that HTML version, but it's going to prefer the PHP version of the site. And the reason why is that for the first time, we're able to actually dynamically pull output from the back end, which is huge for SEO. So for example, I'll go to this roadmap page and then I'll view page source, and we'll see the output in the document itself. Now, if I were to refresh this page, you get the normal thing you would expect from HAXcms. if that HTML file is there as opposed to the index.php, you're going to get the same exact thing, right? It's just going to show you this content like you would expect, default you to the right place, pull up the editing experience. But previously, this page was effectively invisible to search engines because it would always hit this and then it would kind of fall back to the root, and it didn't actually have this content in it. Search engines aren't looking at the JavaScript in general when they're indexing pages. A couple, I think, do. But what's important then is to have this information here. So now every page that you go to will correctly serve up the, in this case, Open Graph and Twitter metadata, as well as Creative Commons licensing that you selected, if you selected a license, referencing a Twitter account if you have one associated in your internal settings. All of that happens on the fly so that if this page is actually requested by a robot, it's going to get really good SEO scores because then it'll also be able to read through the content that's available here. There's also been a lot of improvements as far as development cleanup on our end as a result of just this process here. But the other nice thing is that now, whenever we change settings, and I'll upload a logo. Let me find an actual Hacks the Web logo here. Here we go. So here's a Hacks the Web logo. And so we're going to put this up as the logo, right? And it claims it's going to generate thumbnails, browser tab versions, all that fun stuff. Now, when we go into files, and we'll see this actually pop up. So we'll go into files. Let's see if there's any other settings in here that we need to change because I haven't looked at this in a while. Let's change it from lime to green just to do it. The Elm Snowflake is fine. SEO, we want path auto. We want this to be offline capable. And look, it also says, hey, we're using the Hacks the Web CDN, which is a specialty one that you're not supposed to use outside of this project. But we've also got these settings listed in here, right? So let's hit save. And what happened rather quickly is it created this HAXcms managed directory and then generated derivatives of the Hacks the Web logo that will work across every platform. Now, if I view source here, for those robots, they're going to be pointed to the correct versions of these files. So now if you pull the site up on an iPhone, it's going to have the exact correct dimension image presented to the user when they go to install it if they so choose. Same with Microsoft, same with Android. All of this stuff is just happening. Even the little silly logo in the top bar, I might have to do a super refresh or something to make that actually stick. But this icon, there we go, now it changed. That icon is also served via these settings. So a lot more attention to detail, being able to go to example themes here, and we'll just jump back. Let's go to integrations, and let's go to that Octocat, and we get the integrations page so that people can contribute to the website's documentation in effect. The fact that you could pull this site down, pull it into your own copy of HAXcms, work on it and push it back up, right? We're getting this level of remix and portability that's kind of unprecedented when it comes to content management systems in general, but specifically things that are targeting improving the OER space. Now, I want to show improvements to the site outline as well, but I want to do it in a fake site. Let's make a brand new site here. The reason being, I don't want to edit the Hacks the website itself live. So another demo. Okay, so we're going to do a demo here, demo of some stuff. And this demo site, we're going to put, not in the Learn theme, we're going to use the documentation theme, which is pretty clean. I can also throw up, the image to use as the banner and pick the icon for it. But we'll just pick some of these settings to do it. So this is going to create another demo, refresh the page. I can now search for demo. We get the So Another Demo. I'm going to fire up So Another Demo and see this is getting really fast. Another thing that is added in is when a new site is created, it gives you this more useful message like, hey, maybe you've never edited a site before. This is something GraphCMS does that I really liked. Okay, so to get started, go over and hit the pencil and let's start editing. Right? Even something as simple as that to give someone a cue that this is what they need to do from here. Right, so I can upload that image of myself, put it in place, save. Hey, we just edited this page. Now the message does tell me to delete this. I don't really need to see the little details about the Hacks the Web journey, but you can see that we can rather rapidly, whoop, I don't want to upload another picture of my face there. Hey, it's Tim from Reclaim Hosting. That we can rather rapidly start to build out content, scaffolding. We're going to work on exposing this like example lessons area and things like that, but you can hopefully get a sense of just how quickly you can build this out. Now, the area that I know really excited a lot of people, and it had some serious issues in version 10 and 11, is the site outline. So I'm going to change, let's modify this first one. So it's just going to be a welcome page. All right, so I can do that via the UI. I could do that before, that's what I would expect to do. The welcome page is generated, also has a nice clean path welcome, didn't have that before. But let's go back to this, and now let's build as if we were making a series of content. So chapters about hacks, and then maybe under there we have like introduction to the platform. Then the next lesson would be like building your first hacks capable element and hacks and you. Now under the hacks and you, I might have like a demo, and I'm just using the keyboard for this. Demos of what you can do, where the platform is going, how to get involved. Now maybe that has been, and again, keyboards only, maybe that's been something I really like. You can see now getting into the mouse accessibility, I've got this nice little, and a tab there, I've got this little tracer that kind of helps me see at a glance when I'm diving deeper into material. So let's move that back out a few levels, move it over there, double click, I can collapse it, I can toggle what's active and expand it. I could collapse all of these, I could expand all of them. I could take this whole section and move it up. I can take this item and we'll indent it underneath there. And now let's take this section and duplicate it. Now let's take this and we'll duplicate that one as well. So hopefully you can see that I'm doing this to prove how fast it is. But also ultimately, let's do 2 and 3, and this is hacks in U1, and this is going to be 1 and 2 and 3 as well, just so that we can see the difference. I'm going to hit save. That just went and did everything. What is everything? So this just created all of the pages associated with this. So we go to show another demo, we go into pages, we can see that there's chapters about how fast it is, hacks and you, the whole directory tree, built out all of these, referenced them in its site.json, which is what powers our system, and then updates itself. That was incredibly fast. So now I've got this, site scaffold, outline, what have you. I can recall it again, and then I can take the hacks and you, and I can move it up above the other one. Actually, maybe I want to move it above the welcome, save, and then it's going to reorganize the items under the hood. There we go. That one moved up. This one's at the bottom now. Even operations like that we were having issues with in version 11 as far as just accuracy. Now, just completely not even a thing we think about. It just is starting to work and scream with performance. So save, again, I'm at this nice semantic path, SEO, I open up page view, and I should see my contents that have been added in here. Yeah, it's just starting to scream with performance. So there it is from an SEO perspective. This stuff updated dynamically relative to the page it's being viewed on, right? I've got my Creative Commons license in there for share alike, but let's go and let's change the share alike license. We're going to jump over to author. We're going to change it to non-commercial attribution and me and me. And okay, save. And now when we inspect source, we should expect to see a different Creative Commons license, and this is the attribution non-commercial. So now I'd say we're reaching a point with HAXcms that that we were starting to reach with Hax about a year ago, where I didn't plan any aspect of this. This entire demo was fluid and it was just whatever I happened to click on. So we're starting to reach that level of assurance as far as data quality, as far as just user experience with HAXcms in addition to Hax. So anytime we fix something in HAXcms that involves the editor and the mobile experience of that editor, that goes right back into Hax, which then goes into Elm's Learning Network, goes into WordPress, Drupal, Backdrop, Grav, all of it. So we have this unified pipeline of development where we can start to do pretty amazing things really rapidly. I'm not even going to get into any of the stuff that's going on with Docker and web components that invoke containers on the back end. I'll leave that to Mike because he's going to start showing some of that at HAXcamp. But if any of this was interesting to you from an OER perspective, from just a web development perspective, make sure to go to hax.camp and join a whole bunch of crazy people talking about this and a lot of other things that have to do with web components.